I tried to kill myself. I'd spent many years wanting to, and not. I'd come close a couple of times, and I hadn't because of fear or shame or guilt or cowardice or whatever you want to call that. I was so utterly convinced of my own total lack of worth that redemption was impossible. I was a negative influence on the world. I was a bad person. I remember being so convinced of this that I found it really frustrating that my friends and my family still seemed to care about me. If I just had a switch on the side of my head or some button I could press, if I could just show them exactly what it was like to be in my mind, they'd understand. They'd understand how awful both I and my existence in this world were. And not just understand, they'd probably agree. They'd say, actually, yeah, that sounds like it's the best thing for you. And that thundering, overwhelming river of negativity and self-hatred coursing through your mind all the time is exhausting to try and hide. Hanging out with those friends and those family members when you're secretly pretending that you're fine, but you wish that you didn't exist, is unbelievably draining. It shrinks your window of existence. I couldn't think more than a couple of minutes ahead. I lived minute to minute, tangled in these webs of hypothetical scenarios in my head, wondering why no one else seemed to be bothered by these things. Because this happens to everyone, right? Because this happens to everyone, right? Because this happens to everyone, right? Happens to everyone, right? first time I thought the words, I can't see my life going in any fashion other than one where I let down everyone I've ever loved or cared about. That was a huge, huge moment for me. Because actually a couple of seconds after that was the first time I'd ever thought in my adult life, maybe that won't be the case. Maybe I won't live a life where I let down everyone I've ever loved and cared about. Expressed in when we're asked if we're feeling bad. We'll say that we don't feel good, but we won't say that we feel bad. Saying that you're fine when you're not presents to everyone but you as just being better. That sucks, but it could be worse. But it could be worse. You don't get to feel bad because someone else has it feel bad. At least you didn't grow up in a war-torn country. At least you're not a starving child. Obviously, perspective is good, but those ideas are actually pretty counterproductive because they can invalidate how people are feeling. They can make them feel as though it's somehow not legitimate. To say you don't get to feel bad because someone else has it worse is the identical logic to saying that you don't get to feel good because someone has it better. And no one's saying that. Emotions aren't absolutes, they're not binaries. We know that emotions don't work like that, and these things are still internalized within us. Stiff upper lip. Keep calm and carry on. Keep your chin up. Man up. Big boys don't cry. Those ideas are fundamentally flawed because they make people feel that their suffering is somehow not genuine. That whole idea of not talking about suffering is actually a reasonable coping mechanism until it's not. Until you go past this tipping point and you're in crisis. And then it is the worst thing that you could have done because you have no way of articulating to anyone outside of that you are in that zone. Talking is our early warning mechanism for these cases. Being stoic, saying that we're fine when we're not, forces coping into this false binary of coping totally fine and feeling the worst we've ever felt. And what's worse, and the reason that I suspect it's perpetuated this long, is that it's self-selecting. If I took everyone and blindfolded you all, and I line you all up 9 meters in front of the edge of a cliff, and I walk along the line of all of you, and I give you all a number between 1 and 10. And I tell you that's how many meters you're going to have to walk. It doesn't matter how long you take to do it, but you have to walk it. Invariably, some of you will fall off that cliff. But then the most baffling thing happens, which is how everyone who stays on the cliff starts turning around and chatting to each other about how blindfolds are the best thing ever. And we should invest in blindfolds, and we should have more blindfolds for everyone. I'm one of the people who fell off that cliff. And I've spent quite a while getting back up it. And now I'm back at the top-ish. I'm just here yelling, screaming, begging with all of you to take the blindfold off. Because that cliff is there for all of us. I don't doubt that some of you have been close to it, felt close to it. I don't doubt that some of you have been close to it and not realized it was there. But it's not worth discovering it's there by falling off it. We maybe don't need to talk because we'd be able to spot it if it was in someone close to us. We'd be able to work out that it was happening to them. But no one spotted me. And that's not because of negligence on any part. It's because I couldn't spot myself. I didn't know I was unusual because no one else ever speaks about their mental health. So if you're not going to talk about your mental health for yourself because you feel fine, talk about it for someone else, someone who may not be able to speak about it, because they might realize that it isn't it for them. Because ultimately, talking about your mental health is not just good for you. It's good for everyone.